Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report out front of the Garden. We're back from San Francisco for potentially the last game of the 2022 season. The Warriors have a chance to clinch an NBA championship here tomorrow night. And the Celtics are, I wouldn't say scrambling, they're looking relaxed. Robert Williams dancing at practice. Jason Tatum brought the ball to the podium and got asked, are you still holding it to keep it away from Draymond? Well, what you potentially saw there was a light moment where this team just isn't stressing immensely over this moment, down 3-2 in this series. They've been there before, playing a difficult Game 7 against the Heat, as well as coming back in the same position against the Bucks, having to go on the road for the Game 6. Well, they'll be at home for this one. They'll have a number of adjustments coming into play here, and all of them are going to be offensive. We saw the Celtics working on their progressions, their kickouts, some of the motions that they want to do to get the ball to the top of the arc and produce these great quality looks that the Warriors are allowing them by collapsing and overhelping and stacking the rim. The rim production from the Celtics continues to be abysmal in this series, particularly from Jason Tatum at the point of attack. The things you hear from the Celtics, talk to Derrick White, Grant Williams, as well as Jaylen Brown, are pace, spacing, and particularly the shot clock, which is getting run down to, as we've talked about on the Garden Report, 14, sometimes 8. Sometimes Jason Tatum or Marcus Smart are still at half court when it's down to 5 or 4, and there's just no time to get into any level of a progression. The Celtics need to have multiple layers of ball movement, multiple levels of penetration to get into this defense. And when you're starting late in the clock, it's not going to work. I asked Jason Tatum, who does have the ball in his hands quite a bit when that happens, about what's preventing them from getting into early offense. Here's what he had to say. What is going on in certain possessions when you guys do get stagnant, or that shot clock's at 14 when you get into it? Just like, what slows you guys down at times, you think?
I think being in our spots, we just got to be conscious of, not walking in spots, getting there with some sense of urgency. You play in the half court and let them set their defense. They're really, really good. So I think, obviously, it starts with getting stops and then kicking the ball ahead, when you do get a stop, and playing in transition. Even if you don't score, just putting pressure on the defense, and then bring it back out and set something up. But, walking the ball up and things like that against them is, it's tough to score.
So you don't love that answer. You don't love what the Celtics continue to do game in and game out. They know the issues are turnovers. They know the issues are the ball control and facilitation, decision-making, all these different things we've talked about through the whole playoff run. Every round it's gotten worse. Every round they've had more issues with teams stacking the interior and helping and putting a rim protector in drop, as we saw in the Milwaukee series. And I like Jaylen's point on the spacing, because you had Grant Williams getting the kick-out outlet shots that Tatum and others were throwing to him when they were getting hampered by defenses before. Grant, of course, won Game 7 here against the Bucks with 7-8 threes. You had Derrick White providing some secondary ball handling, secondary dribble drives, even earlier in this series that were helpful. And Marcus Smart, his production has dipped considerably into this series. Decision-making with him, too, not being helpful when it comes to secondary playmaking, taking a lot of risks, lob passes, behind the back finish in Game 1 it went, but it's like you're trying to be more careful as a team, you're trying to be more disciplined, and the risks, the pass attempts, some of these plays that they're trying to attempt just remain baffling. So the Celtics haven't created a lot of progress in terms of solving those things, but they're getting high-quality looks. And if those fall, you're still looking at a potential in this series of going back out to San Francisco, playing a Game 7 that's essentially a coin toss at that point. Celtics figured out some things defensively in the last game, got more aggressive on Curry. That's going to be one of the second guesses coming out of this series, is going to the more aggressive traps on him. One game too late, and that lost you Game 4, him going off against the drop defense. And if you did that a game earlier, are you in a better position now with an advantage in this series after a Game 5 loss rather than down in the series? can't look back. This team's looking ahead. They do good at turning the page, and we'll do the same here at CLNS Media, Celtics All Access, with Game 6 coverage starting tomorrow, brought to you by HelloFresh, HelloFresh.com/playoff16. That's 16 free meals, 3 free gifts, and we'll have practice highlights, pressers, all of that coming up on CLNS Media, Celtics All Access on YouTube, and continued coverage of the NBA Finals here at clnsmedia.com. I'm Bobby Manning, back in Boston. We'll see you tomorrow night.